Hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to the Milan Music Week and welcome to this panel. It's really an honor for me. I'm the CEO of FIMI, the Italian Federation of the Music Industry. It's really an honor for me to have here Lyor Cohen from YouTube for a fireside with Marta Cagnola from Sole 24 Ore. And I'm immediately handing over to the two stars, Marta Cagnola from Sole 24 Ore, and Lyor Cohen from YouTube for this interesting fireside that we all wait with really enthusiasm. So thank you for being here, Lyor.
Hoping to meet your expectations.
I agree with that.
We have just a little bit of pressure now. So, Lyor, first of all, you do consider yourself a music person, not a tech person. When they told me, they told me this aspect. I think it's very interesting. You still consider yourself a music person.
I'm only a music person. I'm 40 years of working in the music industry. Google and YouTube doesn't need someone to join them and fake like they're a technical person. I still throw pigeons out the window to communicate. So when I joined Google and YouTube, I said to the people at the company that I'm going to remain my most authentic self. And when I say us, I mean the music industry. So I really appreciate them because they've allowed me to be my most authentic self, and they've allowed me to represent the music industry. So that's a big kudos to them because there are very few traditional media people inside of these tech companies. So, yeah.
You told us before that you work in the music domain since some decades, so you've seen a lot of changes in this field.
Like I said, I'm celebrating 40 years of avoiding work my whole life. Yay! It's kind of amazing. I met the deputy mayor of Milan downstairs earlier, and he says, "So what do you think?" I said, "What do I think? I think this is glorious that the music industry that fights so hard during the day trying to sign the best artists and develop their talent, and they're so competitive. But when you have a music week like this, I see all the competitors united in the spirit of this creative art form that we have an honor to serve." And I also said, I've gone around the room and told the community, my compadres in the music industry, what we really are. And what we really are first responders. I know it sounds silly, but this world is completely off of its axis. There's so much bad shit happening. And music reminds us that we have way more in common than what separates us. Imagine if they turned off the music in this crazy world that we live on. And so I think that everybody in this room, and certainly I view my responsibility as a first responder, just to make this world slightly better than what it is today.
I was looking at the audience. I see a lot of young people, and it's a very mixed audience. We have young people and less young people. You've seen in these 40 years some changes in the way of listening to music, because, well, 40 years ago, we were used to have vinyl records or CDs. And what do you think about the changes in the way we listen to music?
So I'm the wrong person to ask, because I thrive on change. When the machinery is grinding and it's sparking and making really loud noises, that's music to me. So when things are nice and comfortable and easy and the same as it always was, that's frightening to me. So the fact that the music industry changes all the time is a gift to a person like me that enjoys the friction and the machinery grinding against itself. And I would simply say, you know, a lot of people, I've done a few interviews in the last couple of days, and they talk about, because I built my career primarily in rap music, they talk about the golden age. And I push back. You know, they're trying to be complimentary, telling me I'm old. But I push back because I don't believe in the golden age. The golden age is right now, today. That's the golden age. As long as artists could get on stage and be believable and authentic and rock an audience, to me, that's the golden age. So whether it's the way I used to listen, I used to buy a vinyl, roll a joint on it, and listen to music. I was a listener of music. That's what my generation did, and I used to get lost in the liner notes and look at a couple of photos, but I was primarily a listener. My generation was a listener. This generation is a participant. They want to participate. What? That's not the golden age? So I think that the moment you say the golden age or a certain era I was a better listener, I think it just makes me sound like a grumpy old man, and I refuse to be a grumpy old man. So.
Not very common, because there was this sense of some nostalgia in the music business. A lot of things a lot of people like to dwell in the past.
I don't want to dwell in the past for even a second.
Okay. Do you still listen to vinyl records? I'm not asking the other part of the habit.
I do have a beautiful, clear audio Swiss turntable that is like a piece of art. It's a gorgeous piece of art. And for me, I love hosting people over my house, and streaming music is much easier. Except when someone says, "What is that? It's so gorgeous." I said, "It's a turntable," and they want to listen to a piece of vinyl, so I accommodate them, and we listen to vinyl, and every time I listen to the turntable, it makes me smile.
And what do you choose for, I don't know, a gathering with friends? Which vinyl do you choose?
Oh, well, that's a very good question. The first thing that comes to mind is Fela. When I put, Fela, his songs sometimes were a whole side of a record, so I don't have to go and move the needles. So that's always good. And gosh, Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. Two of them popped in my head.
Not a bad evening.
Yeah.
You were saying that young people love to participate, and thanks to technology, of course. What's how technology can help now listen to music and cooperate in you were saying, and be active in music?
Well, technology, it's obvious that we all have a record store in our pocket. That's interesting. You know, with every convenience, you have to question, is that, I actually like the effort, the friction of good shit. And I think as we are advancing in this world, making frictionless good shit, I'm not sure is only upside. I liked having to get in a car and go to a record store and flip through the vinyl and the CDs and make the effort and discuss with the salesperson, watch other people. I thought that, I was telling people last night, I'm a lucky bastard because I was raised in an analog way. Okay? I never had a smartphone till my first phone I had to hold with both hands. It was so heavy. And so the fact that I had an analog childhood allows me to be the master of this device. And I wonder now if this generation, because they've never had an analog childhood, if they are slaves to that device. So this is simply a tool for me.
Do you think they are slaves?
Well, I don't know. I don't want to be critical, but their necks are always protruding. And it's hard to have a conversation with them over dinner. I've decided that I'm going to open up an analog restaurant. It's going to be the biggest idea I've had ever. So this is a chain restaurant that you have to go and put your cell phone in a little compartment, and you actually have to go and eat with your family and have an analog discussion. I think it's going to be huge. I'm going to make a fortune.
Yeah, we're Italian, so we are concerned about the food too, but we trust in you. But technology also changed music, the art of songwriting, for instance, because there is something different with new platforms, new way of listening to music, which brings with it a new way of writing music.
Sounds like a statement. Where's the question?
What do you think about it? Is it true?
What do I think about it? So here's what I'm going to jump to maybe I'm going to answer the question, maybe not. The biggest bone of contention, my biggest, greatest concern is, and I really spend a lot of time watching and listening and exploring. I feel like I'm a private investigator my entire life. I think what's happened is that the creative community has decided that it's easier to be successful through being famous and a celebrity than be really good at your musical craft. And it's pissing me off. I really can't stand it. I think our artist community are completely out of position because they're doing one more social media post or one more short or one more TikTok or one more Reels or one more Instagram. They're so caught into cutting through the clutter of choice through marketing and celebrity and being famous than finding that needle in the haystack, that brave record that would change musical culture. So I personally believe that it's not because of technology, it's because of the confusion of the marketplace and the fact that there's a tidal wave of choice. It used to be a very expensive industry. Expensive to record, expensive to put records in record shops, and now all the prices have come down and has created a democracy and then no barrier of entry. So suddenly, we've got a tidal wave of choice. And so how do you cut through the clutter? I suggest the way you cut through the clutter is you just write the most beautiful, brave songs and not worry about being a celebrity or famous and outsource all of that. I think finding the needle in the haystack is, we have the artist completely out of position. So I'm sorry, I'm a run-on sentence, I apologize. What's next?
I think that we have,
I didn't hear any clapping for that. Yeah, come on. Let's get our artists back to making brave records. Why not?
I like this
instead
agenda.
of this.
It was different back 40 years ago. Artists wanted to be artists. They didn't want to be celebrities. They want primarily to be artists.
I think that they wanted to be musical. And celebrity was the outcome of great music and brave records. I think there's like I said, there's 120,000 new records a day coming into the marketplace. And so they're frightened that they can't stand through the clutter. And so they feel obliged to be marketing experts.
Now music is music, of course, but it's also a lot of other things, videos, teasers, and what do they mean to you? Because, of course, you're a music man, but you work with Google and YouTube. So what's the importance of all this content?
So I hate to sound like a guy selling my own stuff, but I don't know why any artist does anything but YouTube. And the reason why I say that is our whole intent of YouTube is around fandom. The key for us, the metrics of success for us, is how many fans can we put next to their favorite artists? How do we create a sticky relationship with an artist and a fan? The other platforms aren't interested in that. They're interested in putting you into the dumb stage. Yeah, we have shorts, but we want shorts to be a discovery tool. We don't want them to live in shorts. We want them to discover what they love, and then we will move them over. Just like that, we're going to ring the bell and move them over to a video, to a performance, to an interview, to create a sticky relationship with their artists. We don't want to catch them in this. We think that's a sugar high. We want it to be an appetizer to a main course. And the main course is an artist song, premium music video, a performance, an interview. And that's what we are working every single day to accomplish.
I was born in an era where we were cutting magazines. I am very envious of the fans today. They've got a lot of things to watch and to discover. But of course, I've got to ask you a question about the business model for artists, because everywhere in the world we are talking about monetization, how to make money, and the equal and just way for the artist to gain money with YouTube and Google.
Well, I mean, we're very proud of our monetization model. We are going to be the #1 provider of revenue to the music industry. That's not open for debate. The twin engine growth story of subscription and advertising is firing on all cylinders. We meet the customer, we meet the fan where they are. If you're a 15-year-old kid that doesn't have a job and cannot afford a subscription, they could pay with their eyeballs. And if you can't afford to buy a subscription, we'll sell you a subscription. So we feel like our financial model is fabulous and robust and paying billions of dollars to the music industry. And I don't hear this, the value gap commentary anymore, because people are understanding now the explosive growth of streaming platforms and the ability for these streaming platforms to monetize for the artist and creative community. So I feel like very, very comfortable and happy with our monetization framework.
I would like to ask you, what would you suggest to a young artist to be seen and listened to on YouTube? What would you suggest?
Well, I'm going back to making brave records, important records, and spend more time in your craft of songwriting and your articulation of an interpretation of music and the song. Get back to your craft. We need artists that are going to help change the musical landscape. We don't need any more social media stars. That's like, that's boring to me.
No connection with this concept, but what do you think about the K-pop phenomenon?
The hip-hop what?
K-pop.
Oh, the K-pop phenomenon. Why? I said it to yesterday at a round table. Are Italians ambitious enough? What does that mean? You could be really big in Italy and feed your family really well, being big in Italy. You can't do that in Korea. You can't feed your family by being big in Korea. So they had to look outside of Korea. That's why they've taken over, because they're ambitious beyond their home territory. They cannot feed their families just by being a big Korean artist. They needed to go and travel. And so the question is, are you comfortable enough being big in Italy? Or are you willing to be ambitious enough to take over the world? And to me, you have finally these global platforms with these global footprints that allow for music to travel. The world is getting smaller. Do you get the same writer when you're breaking a new country down? No, you don't get a Mercedes van, you get a little Fiat. You don't get a hotel suite, you get a Holiday Inn. It's not so bad. Curtis Blow, my first artist, he still makes a living in Europe because very early on in the early 80s, people were interested in rap music, and he said yes all the time. And he still feeds his family because he invested in coming to Europe and spending a lot of time here. And so here, 45 plus years later, it's still paying dividends. So like I said, my question is the musical community ambitious enough to not be satisfied with just winning in Italy alone?
But now I'm curious. I know that you listen to Italian music. What do you like about Italian music?
Excuse me. I mean, the really wonderful impressions that I've had, A lot of people know that I'm really enamored with Italy. Like, you guys have broke the code. I know you guys live here, and so you don't see, it's always greener on the other side. But you guys got the Dolomites, and then you got Sicily. You're surrounded by water. I mean, the food is off the hook. This was the beginning, a lot of civilization, all the things that you guys invented. The education, the arts, I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, this is a country that is punching way above their weight, so I guess it takes a tourist to appreciate it as much as I do. But what struck me the most is when I see 3 generations of people singing a song. And, I come from, my attitude is when my parents told me that's not music, that's noise. That was music to me, because that was one of the things that I was trying to do, is trying to be abrasive and trying to reject them and be a teenager and have my own. And when I see Italians enjoying songs together, I just think it's like magical. And that was the first impression. And then I got the great fortune to get turned on by a friend of mine, Philo Valsecchi, turned me on to a artist called Battisti. And I went absolutely nuts for this guy. And then I had really very difficult negotiations with CI, okay? And it was rough. You should feel very lucky to be represented by this society. I flew down to Rome. Dan and I flew down to Rome. My God, these guys were tough. Like, never smiling at all. And it was several days of, like, scary, really scary negotiations. Like, wait a second, this is not the Italians that I have grown accustomed to. And then I was telling them about Battisti, and then they mentioned that this gentleman called Mogo. And he showed me a picture of this guy, and this guy looks like Buddha to me, like the happiest man on the planet, smiling from ear to ear. And he said, this is the guy who wrote all these songs. So I went to go visit this guy. And it was magical. This guy curated every moment of my experience. When I opened the door, I was accosted by the smell of roses. And he welcomed me to his school, songwriter school in Umbria. And he's this little short guy smiling like crazy. And he said that he's been so successful that he wanted to give a gift back to Italy. And he walked around Italy for 2 years to find the perfect place to put a school for music. And this is the place that I went to visit him. And it was an oh my God. It happened to be that the Sicilian government sponsored a bunch of songwriters from Sicily, kids from Sicily that day. And it was just like a magical experience. And so, I don't know, I just, then he told me about, he played me some songs that he wrote for this woman, Mina. I was blown away by her. I don't know, I just, you know, like I said, it takes a tourist to sometimes appreciate the thing that's right in front of all of you.
We took it for granted. I would like to ask you something about the future, your forecast. How do you see music and traditional music?
I never forecast anything in my life. I think it's so bogus and stupid. Anybody who can tell you the future of music is just so full of shit. I remember when I just sold a piece of Def Jam to Polygram, and I was invited to this global convention. I didn't even know these things existed. And I was on a plane to Seville, my first time to Seville. And I sat next to the head lawyer of Polygram, and in a very English tone, he said, "Lyor, what's the future of rap music?" And I turned to him and I said, "I have no clue." And he was very put off. He said, "So what does the company pay you millions of dollars for?" And I said, "I hope not to predict the future, but to create an environment, a safe, creative environment that some snotty kid in a garage wants to be with me. And it's that kid that will change the future of music." And so my style is simply to create a comfortable and safe musical environment for someone brave enough to take us in the future.
I have a couple questions more, but then I'll ask the audience if they have a couple questions too. I would like to ask you about artificial intelligence. What do you think about it? Are you afraid? Are you curious?
I'm afraid, I'm curious, I'm excited, I'm all the above. But mostly, remember I said very early on that I enjoy the friction. I enjoy the machinery grinding on each other. So one thing that I can tell you with absolute certainty is that Gen AI is here. It's here in the music business. I've seen it, and there is no stopping it. What we have decided to do is to work very closely with our partners in the music industry to collaborate and build the future together. And three things need to happen: control, monetization, and attribution. Okay? And it's funny because it's counterintuitive. In order to control it, you have to participate. You have to allow the computer to hear your music in order to give you the ability to control it. I highly recommend that you all understand that there's no fighting or stopping this. So my high recommendation is to embrace it and to pitch in and help us shape what the future of Gen AI means. And just for definition, AI was helpful for you to get here, whether it was an Uber, whether it was a map or anything. You've been using AI to help you for a long time. It's been part of how we live. Gen AI is the machinery learning from itself. That's what it is. So just to make sure we get the semantics right.
I would like to ask you something which has to do with the past, because there is a lot of interest about the catalogs on YouTube too, because our catalogs are still thriving. People are still very interested in past in old catalog music.
I think catalogs are so valuable, and I don't know, what's the question?
What excites me is that we can live simultaneously in the present, in the future, and in the past too. Because when I see the trends in YouTube, we can see that a lot of old things, old materials, old artists are still thriving. For instance, we had the new Beatles song, and a lot of young people discovered the old catalog via YouTube too.
So the whole concept of what it core to a kid is to participate. And I think it's easier for them to participate with a catalog record that was well known once upon a time than to cut through the clutter of the 120,000 new tracks and get more traction vis-a-vis that. So I suspect catalog is going to be even more important as we are going into a more mature short-form video world.
I did love what YouTube did with the Beatles song, with the teaser, with the documentary. Did you love it?
Couple of proud moments is unlocking Beatles on YouTube for UGC. When I heard that record, I said, oh my God, thank God, we need this record so badly. By the way, it has nothing to do with artificial intelligence. It's a gorgeous record that was found on a cassette, and because of technology, the vocals were able to be lifted. That's it. This is a gorgeous, beautiful, and important record. Second proud moment also was releasing the Stones record after 18 years. And those two fabulous records, I think, are a real gift to our Christmas holiday period.
We have 5 minutes more, and then I would like to ask you if you have some questions. Se avete delle domande, io mi metto gli occhiali così più o
There's
meno vi
someone
vedo.
back there with a hand up.
There is a hand down there.
Yeah, on the left.
Yeah.
Come on up and ask the question. I'm going to make you work for this.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Natalie, and yesterday you spoke about YouTube developing system as a content ID for, I don't know, to getting along with all the things that are happening with artificial intelligence. So I read about a guy from Chile that made a song with the voice of Bad Bunny. I don't know if you have heard of that.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
I am a little bit afraid, you know, because Bad Bunny is Bad Bunny, so maybe that's why they kept it out from the catalog, from all the streaming apps. And
It was a great record, right?
yes, well, it has.
Yeah, so you're talking about the system to protect and control artists' inclusion. Bad Bunny should make a decision whether he wants to participate or not. So we respect that. We haven't figured out the full attribution and monetization aspect. When everything has been resolved, control, monetization, and attribution, then I think it's up to the creative community to decide if they want to participate or not. We suspect that there is going to be some that or have reservation, some that don't and want to participate. And we want to respect everybody to be able to do that. So, and we're going to build the systems. We feel that we have invested enormous amounts of money in content ID. 30% of all the revenue that comes to the music industry is UGC, which is a direct result of our Zurich campus and the millions of dollars that was invested in content ID. With Gen AI, it's going to go to another level. It will be Content ID 5.0. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
There was another question there, I think. Yes, down there?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes, I'm Matteo. First of all, thank you. It's wonderful to listen to someone with such a calm demeanor and leading in the music space. Fantastic to listen. You mentioned at the beginning that the world is spinning off its axis, and I was wondering what you think is the main point that Google is looking at to keep the planet on its axis.
So I don't speak for Google. I'm only a music person, Matteo. I only care about music. I don't care about anything else other than music. So all I can say, what I'm trying to do and our team is trying to do is keep the music going and flowing and encouraging the creative community to be brave and write brave records. Do you realize how silent the music industry and artists have been with the tragedies that are happening in this world today? They're more interested in their intermittent fasting than standing up for injustices that are happening. I grew up in an era. I grew up in an era. My mother dragged me to the Love-Ins to fight against the Vietnam War. When there was injustices happening, it was musicians and the music industry that raced in to make an impact and bring the voice and the spotlight to some of the most important issues of our time. Now artists are too concerned about, I don't know what they're so concerned about. But who knows? Who knows?
Do we have some other questions?
Up there to the left?
I don't think so.
Come on down and grab a microphone.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Louis. Nice to meet you. Thanks for the talk. And I have a question about music, because I feel like as a me myself, I'm a DJ. I'm working in the music industry, and I feel kind of controversial on some point of how can we keep up on making great music, and to keep up on having more people to listen to it or amplify our music, with also the ambient, the trends that we are surrounded by, pushing through more contents, short, YouTube short, or Instagram reels, keeping up with all of it. It's really a struggle, especially for entrance level of producer or musicians. So I guess my question is, I would like to outsourcing it, but I don't have the possibility to do it maybe right now. So I guess my question is, how can we find a balance or find a way to make good music and also in somehow amplify it with the plan for YouTube and everything surrounding us?
It's a brilliant question and the most important question that we face in the music industry today. And I could be self-serving. Like I said, I think you should just focus on YouTube. But a more nuanced answer is, in my opinion, outsource celebrity and fame to all these little cottage industries that do it really good and focus on making great music. I personally believe the industry has been at a fork. Everybody's traveling the celebrity and fame way. Very few people are traveling the high quality musical way. My advice is, like I said, make the best records, outsource all the celebrity and fame stuff. That's my...
I think that time's up. I don't see any more questions. Our time's up. So thank you very much, Mr. Lyor Cohen. It's been a great honor.